So, hi everyone, welcome back to the Darts with Jack podcast. And today I've got a very special guest, so I'd like to welcome Tom Sykes onto the podcast. So, hi Tom, how are you? And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks, mate. So, obviously, this weekend, last weekend, you made your international debut for England. So, how did
Yep.
that feel for you?
Yeah, it's a massive thing for me. It's what I've been working towards ever since I started playing, obviously, county youth. And I've worked my way up from county youth to Yorkshire men's team. I'm now men's team captain. And to get called for England's a really massive thing.
So obviously you've been obviously the last year you've been really prolific on the Modus Super Series. So how does making your debut for England differ from the Modus Super Series in general?
Yeah, the modus has been a great thing for me, but there's nothing like playing for your country. And hopefully I'll get plenty more opportunities to do that.
So obviously you're men's team captain at Yorkshire, as you've just said. So how did you get into the ranks at Yorkshire? When did you start playing darts? And how have you progressed through like the county ranks?
I started playing darts at the age of 18. Basically just practicing with my dad in my house because my dad used to play in local leagues and stuff. Um, and then I played against a team that the manager of the Yorkshire youth played for, and got asked to go down, and it all started from there really.
So obviously playing for Yorkshire, it's or even any one county team, it's a massive thing, and I'm sure any player would aspire to do that. So, what piece of advice would you give to any young player who wants to get into darts or wants to reach county level?
I'd say everything. I say it to everybody that asks me this question. I'd say enjoy yourself because there's nothing worse than not enjoying what you do. Obviously, you can play any sport in the world, but if you don't enjoy it, then there's not. It's if you take all the fun out of it, then there's no point.
Yeah. So obviously, you to get to Modus, obviously you can go through qualifiers. You could just be selected. So obviously, playing on the Modus stage, how did you feel the first time you went into it?
Yeah, it's a very very strange environment. I still find it strange now, to be fair. Um, it's so quiet in there, but playing in front of cameras and knowing that people are watching you is it's a good feeling.
And then, so obviously, if you get to Saturday night, which obviously you've done a few times now, you have the crowd. So even though the crowd, obviously, it's a small venue, it's been built out of a church, but how does that crowd impact you when you're playing?
Yeah, I love playing in front of people. I prefer to have a crowd there than not. I'd have a crowd there all week if I could do.
So obviously, playing Modus, you had a great run in Series Six, being Week 10 champion, and then
Yep.
obviously you won Group A in Champions Week in February. So obviously, for many people who hadn't known of your career beforehand, this was the first time they kind of they got the exposure to your game. So would you say that this obviously winning the Modus Week and winning the group in Champions Week, would you say that that's given you the leverage for your career that you needed?
Yeah, definitely. I'm um, I'm actually enjoying practicing now as well, which helps. So I'm enjoying practicing for these things and going down to Modus and just enjoying myself.
Yeah. So obviously, what would you say now? Obviously, you've made your international debut for England. You've played lots of modus. What would you say is the best moment in your career so far?
I've had a few, to be fair. Winning the week at Modus was a massive feeling for me, but I think definitely pulling on that England shirt last week was definitely the highlight for me.
Yeah. So obviously, anyone who plays darts, I'm sure if you ask many of them, their ambition is being sponsored. And obviously, you're sponsored by Unicorn. And that must have been a massive step in your career for you, obviously, being sponsored by the brand that's obviously highlighted so many of the massive players over the time. So, what impact has their sponsorship had on you?
Yeah, massive. When I got the call from my manager Jack that he'd got me a deal at Unicorn, I were over the moon. To go down there and to meet everyone there and just being in around that environment it's an unbelievable feeling. And to put a unicorn shirt on every time I go anywhere is awesome.
Yeah. So obviously, you've also announced recently on your social media that you're going to be joining the Amateur Darts League for season 4, which obviously on the darts community, it's really well known, and it's been a great place for players, young players especially, to kind of get game practice and get a little bit of prize money, or get the leverage and the spotlight on social media that they needed. So what do you hope to get out of the ADL in season 4?
Yeah, exactly that. I I use it as a way of meeting people, making new friends, practice obviously. Because if I play most days of the week anyway, so I might as well fill the rest of my calendar with doing stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, obviously playing in Modus in England, they're all different environments. So obviously, for a darts player, each player has different environments that they thrive in. Phil Taylor obviously thrives playing in front of a massive crowd. So what environment do you say you thrive in?
I'd probably say the same. Playing in front of crowds, playing in front of people. I love to entertain people and play my game in front of people. So I'd probably say yeah, put in front of big crowds.
So obviously, you've had great breakthroughs in the last couple of years, but for the next few years, what are your big ambitions? What do you hope to achieve?
Um, Pro Tour next year. My everything that I'm doing this year now is leading up to Q school again next year, and hopefully I can go one further and get a tour card this year. Well, next year, sorry.
Yeah. So obviously a tour card, I mean, for any young player playing, week in, week out, whether that be in the Players' Championships, on the Euro Tour, the stages is known. You become a lot more known once you start to get your PDC tour card. But obviously, as we saw over the past couple of years, especially at Q School, that the standard's gone up. So is there any part of your game that you feel that you need to improve to push yourself over that level?
Um, at the moment, I'd say probably my doubling. I think my scoring's up there with the best, probably the best in the world when I'm on fire. But my doubles can let me down quite a bit, so I'm working hard on that at the minute, and I'm reaping the rewards at the minute. Everything's going well, so
Yeah, I mean, obviously with players such as Goen Price, who recently we've seen in the Premier League, he's been arguably one of the top three biggest scorers this year. But obviously, his doubles let him down, and the doubles is what wins you the game. So, if you were in an open pairs tournament, let's say, and this is a question I asked to all the guests on my podcast, for the PDC, a big money open pairs tournament, you could choose anyone to be your doubles partner. Who would you choose?
um, I'm gonna have to stick with unicorn and say James Wade because his doubling's ridiculous and he don't miss.
I think that'd be a great combination. You're scoring as well as with the doubling of James. So obviously for many young players trying to get into darts, I know obviously you've given your advice of enjoy yourself, but where do you think is the best place to start in your career?
Um, I'd say well for youngsters nowadays you've got these darts academies and stuff like that. So I'd probably say start at a darts academy because it helps obviously with the accounting and stuff as well. The learn you get to learn things. You get to meet new people, and then obviously you can get yourself into like youth teams and stuff like that, and then you'll just progress from there.
Yeah, obviously, and this was massively highlighted over the winter period, especially during the World Championships. Obviously, with the rise of Luke Littler, who obviously got a massive break on Modus, like you as well, and obviously he started at the academy in St Helens. It's known by everyone. So now I'm going to move on to the quick fire questions. So I've got 10 quick
Yeah,
fire questions for you. Are you ready, Tom?
yeah.
Okay. So number one, what is your favourite tournament?
World Championships,
Would you rather win the World Cup with your best friend or the World Cup with the best player in the world?
World Cup with my best friend.
What is your favourite double to hit?
16.
What is your highest average to date?
109 on the modus.
Who is your best friend within darts?
Ooh. I'd probably say Josh Clough.
What gram of darts are you currently using?
22.
If you could choose a walk-on song, what walk-on song would you choose?
Let's Get Down to Business by Tiesto.
What is your pre-match meal?
McDonald's usually.
And obviously, when you go up to the board, you have 9 or 12 darts to practice before the game begins. What do you do with those 9 or 12 darts?
Normally I throw treble 20, treble 19, treble 18, or practice for the 1-4, 1 for the 9.
Right, thank you, Tom. That is your quick fire questions done. Now, courtesy of Tom and his agent Jack, of course, we have a giveaway for you guys. So, with a little twist, obviously, you have to answer the following question correctly, which is at what age did Tom start throwing darts? So, details of how to enter will be posted after the podcast, so keep your eyes out on X, Twitter, and Instagram for that one. A little clue for you all: the answer to the question was answered during the podcast, and one lucky winner will win a set of the new Condor 120 3-wing flight. So thank you, Tom, so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed your time.
I have enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Right, so now on to the slightly more boring bit. Obviously, it's the weekly recap. A massive thank you for Tom for coming on the podcast and his agent Jack for sorting me out. And yes, the details of the giveaway will be on X/Twitter as soon as the podcast is released. But for now, let's talk about the Euro Tours and the Premier League. So, Euro Tour 3 in Germany. Let's get that noted. And it was a debut PDC title, I believe, for Martin Schindler. He played incredibly all week and has actually got off to a great start in this week's Euro Tour as well. But let me go through the scores on the doors for the Euro Tour last week. So, in the quarterfinals, it was Schindler 6, Danny Noppert 5 in a great affair. Dobie 6, Searle 2. Dobie's had a great start to the season, there's no doubt about it. Bunting 6, Richie Edhouse 5. And Richie Edhouse has had an absolutely incredible Euro Tour last week. Played incredibly across the whole couple of days. He beat Rob Cross, most notably as well. And then it was Goen Price 6, Ross Smith 5 in another tight affair. In the semi-finals, Price beat Bunting 7-5 in what was maybe ever so slightly surprising, and Schindler dominated Dobie 7-3. Schindler took Price on in a home final and won 8-5. He went 2-0 down, Schindler, and never really turned back. He started playing incredibly. He went up to a career high, number 22 in the world, after his home crowd in Riesa, R-I-E-S-A, when he became only the third player to win a PDC ranking title from Germany, which really surprised me. Max Hopp, Riccardo Pietrezco. But yeah, the most memorable story actually is Martin Schindler, funnily enough, was a steward on the European Tour 10 years ago, and now he came and won. Joe Cullen lost to Schindler, but I'm happy that Cullen lost to the winner. And in the Premier League then for this week, let's look at the Premier League. The Premier League was in Rotterdam. It was an absolute sea of orange. It was a good Premier League night in terms of quality. So Aspinall beat Michael Smith 6... Oh, I've just spoiled the result. Let's go from the quarterfinals, Jack. Michael Smith beat Luke Littler 6-3. Michael Smith, I saw this on Twitter. I can't remember who did it, so I'm really sorry that I'm not giving the credit. But Michael Smith is Littler's kryptonite, which really is a really good point, actually. Smith's one of the only players with a positive record against Littler. Price 6, Cross 3. Peter Wright averaged 59 at one point in this game. I think he brought it up to 77. But yeah, he was averaging 59 at some point, but we don't talk about that. And then Humphries beat Van Gogh in 6-4, ending the Rotterdam crowd's absolute hopes. In the semi-final, Michael Smith beat Gerwyn Price 6-5. Aspinall beat Humphries 6-4 after a massive comeback from 4-1 down for Aspinall, winning 5 legs on the bounce. And in the final, it was Nathan Aspinall who took over Michael Smith. Aspinall in the final, 95.55, Smith 96.16. But same amount of 180s, 1 foot. The scoring was very, very close. Doubles, Aspinall weren't great, but his scoring got him down to the finishes quicker. Smith did hit a 170 though, compared to Aspinall's highest checkout of 72. Now looking ahead to the Euro Tour this weekend, Euro Tour 4. And I'll just talk about Friday's games because obviously it's Saturday now actually. So I recorded this on Saturday. A couple of big shocks. Cullen lost 6-1 to Jonas Engstrom. Engstrom played really well. It's disappointing for Joe, only averaged 86, but Engstrom did average 99 and hit a 109 highest checkout. Schindler having the absolute tie of the first round, averaging 108.29, defeating Van Veen, who had 100.29. Sorry, Schindler averaged 108.82. Highest checkout of 121 for Schindler compared to a 148 from Van Veen. Checkouts, Schindler was 6 out of 10. It was a great game for Schindler. That is all we have for the weekly roundup. I made it quick because obviously we have the amazing Tom Sykes doing the interview with me. So yes, I hope you all have a great week. I'm going to leave everyone's links in the description below. Mine, Tom's, Jack's as well, his agent. And keep an eye on X for the giveaway, guys, for a free chance to win some Condor stuff. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I'll see you all in the next episode. Have a great darting week. Goodbye.